You are now listening to the Verified Phenoms podcast. In this show, we speak with individuals who have come from all walks of life and have overcome the mental limitations of imposter syndrome, perfectionism, and overthinking. Get your notebook ready and stay tuned to learn how you can win your mental battles and become a verified phenom as well. Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Verified Phenoms. We're always in the season talking to real people that have overcome real challenges and that have real results. And today we have with us Raven Gibbs. She is a graduate of the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill with a BA in psychology and sociology and a concentration in law and cognitive science. Raven received her Master of Science in Clinical Mental Health Counseling from Capella University, and she is well on her way to shifting the narrative of mental health in the Black community by providing a unique movement experience that promotes emotional, social, and cognitive and physical integration to women of color to improve health and fitness while tackling the issue of self-care and mental health. Raven is also helping the 16% of Black Americans who have a diagnosable mental health illness in the last year. Raven, happy Thursday. I think you said it was like a terrific Thursday when we first got on. Is that right?
Thursday. Yeah.
How is it going today?
Today is beautiful. Literally, it is absolutely gorgeous outside. I can't wait to spend some time around today. But yes, I am happy today. Really
I
good.
feel that right there. And I'm also super glad that we finally got a chance to get you on the show. Oh my goodness. We've been trying this for, I feel like a year now.
It does feel like it's
Longer.
here. Somewhere around, maybe longer, because this was before the TEDx talk, I think.
How long ago was that? Was that a year, 2 years ago?
I did that in May. So
That was in May? Oh my.
we're coming up on a year.
Wow.
Or it's been a year.
It's crazy. Obviously, I had the president up here because it's as hard as it was to get you. As hard as it was to get you up here, I was like, who do I have to call to be able to get your schedule right?
See, and even still, my schedule was a little challenging here. I was like, man, don't make me have to cancel again. I don't.
I was like, she don't like me for real. It is what it is.
You know, it's not like we're locked in.
Weak. Raven, well, I'm really glad to have you up here today. As I was telling you before we got started, the only thing I have prepared for you are some rapid fire questions. So I'm going to ask you some rapid fire questions, and then we're just going to get rolling with the conversation. So when you hear the question, just tell me the first thing that comes to your mind, and we're just going to keep it rolling, all right?
That's terrifying. Let's go.
I promise you it's nothing crazy, all right? It's nothing crazy. All right, ready? What's the biggest learning experience you've had?
This is going to sound really cheesy, but to keep believing in myself and keep shooting for whatever I want.
Cue's theme music. What song is always on repeat for you right now?
Levi's Jeans by Beyonce. That song has like some type of drug in it. It's now injected in my veins. I love that song.
What's the biggest learning? Oh no, what is your biggest regret?
Ooh, there was an audition that since we're speaking of Beyonce, but there was an audition that I should have went to and I didn't go because I talked myself out of it. I'm like, oh no, it's with her choreographer. He's already got his people picked out. Like I had the full scenario mapped out in my head and did not go to the audition. And some of my friends got booked.
Oh man.
Beyonce for Coachella. Beachella.
Wait, you talking about the performance that shook the world?
I played myself so hard.
Raven. That was my favorite album. Oh, you know what? We're moving on. What's one question you're tired of hearing?
Were you named after Raven Simone? I hate that question. I was named after, much love to Raven Simone, but I was named after the first Black ballerina, Miss Raven Wilkinson. So
I would have never thought Raven Simone. Like, I know she's popular, but I wouldn't. If I meet a Raven, I'm not thinking. Okay, next question. What's the biggest surprise? What's the biggest surprise that you've ever gotten?
I got a puppy. Well, you see my dogs.
Mm-hmm.
My Hella and Rena. Hella was the surprise. I was never supposed to have Rena, so I showed up with Rena, and my ex showed up with Hella, and I was like, "Oh snap! Now I have two dogs." Okay, but I like
And we love the daily walks with them too.
yes,
Have you gone on a walk with them yet today? As
not
beautiful as it is.
coming. It's coming. I'm done with clients earlier today, early-ish. So we'll get to enjoy some of the last moments of sunshine today.
Fire, fire, fire. Love it. Now that wasn't too hard, was it?
That wasn't too hard.
All
Okay.
right.
That's
Yeah.
much easier than I thought it
Yeah.
would be.
Yeah, it was simple. I don't ask any wild questions. Every now and then I throw a question in there. It's like, why in the world? Where did this question come from? But
Yeah.
nah, not today. Just keeping it simple, keeping it real simple.
I appreciate that.
So let's circle back for a second.
Okay.
You talked yourself out of doing this performance. I mean, auditioning.
hmm So,
What? Go ahead.
I was just going to say it was a private audition, and it was one of those things where I thought they were just, I don't know what I thought, but I did not think that I was qualified enough. And so I kept going to whoever's auditioning, they've probably already worked with him before. Whoever's auditioning, they've probably been training with all of these other people. If you've been invited, obviously you've got the talent. You've you've been scoped out. You've been placed here. This is your purpose. For me, I had to fight for this information for the audition in general. So I'm like, maybe I don't belong here. I don't have a manager. I'm not signed with an agency. They're not going to call me back. Who would they even call? They'd have to call me directly, and Beyonce ain't calling me directly. So, um, like everything that you can think of, I talk myself out of it. Like I don't have the performance wear. It's not going to look as good as theirs. Who's going to do my hair before the audition? Like I talk myself out of that audition from the Ruta to the Tuta. Like we're done. You're not going.
I got so many questions. Well, my first question, which I'm pretty sure people are listening to this may be wondering, are you even able to tell us how you're able to find out about this private audition? You're not able to spill those beans? I
That would
tried, y'all.
be easy. That would make life too easy.
You okay? Okay. Is that your first time? Well, I know it's not your first time because you are definitely an accomplished dancer, right? So you have been on stage for other celebrities, other major artists, right? I don't know if you want to say their names, so I'll let you say them if you want to. But for you to have already been on stages over the like years and to not say that you didn't think that you were qualified, I think that's something that a lot of people deal with when it comes to, let's just say, like imposter syndrome, right? Where
Right.
you may already have the experience, and no matter what type of experience that you have, you will count yourself out of an opportunity because you maybe feel like you haven't reached your peak or whatever may be for anybody, right? But for you to have already been on tours, you have been on tours before, you've been on major stages, and you still said that I wasn't qualified. What about that? I know you said that you didn't have a manager, all that, but you had already been on stages before. So what about that was like, okay, what makes me not good enough to be on someone else's stage?
More than anything, it was honestly, it was fear. If I
Hmm.
can allow fear, the chatter of fear to be louder than my confidence, then I'm not going to take this opportunity. And that's exactly what happened in that case. I didn't allow myself to even visualize myself on that stage. I fear wouldn't let me even get to that point of being able to say I can visualize myself at the audition.
Hmm.
Um, it was just debilitating. It was limiting. I, though I had been on stage in the past and had done all of these different things, the tours, choreographing for people, dancing for people, it just was never enough for me to say, for me to validate myself and say, this is the space that I'm supposed to be in, and I do belong here. And that's happened in other situations, but I've been able to, with the help of therapy, with the help of my friends, with the help of myself, because I had to do the work as well, just I've been able to validate my different experiences and say, yes, I did do that. Yes, I am capable of that. My brother, my big brother, he always says to me, I don't know why you didn't go for it. You point, shoot, land anyway. You always land on what you want. There's no second guessing with you. Whenever you say you want to do something, you do it. Why did you fall back in that moment? And all I can come to is fear of rejection, fear of hearing that no, or they don't even say no. They just tap you on the shoulder. Get out of the room. It's cold. It's cold.
No, ow, that hurts.
The worst
That
one.
hurts.
Um, you can go ahead and grab your things.
What is this, a reality show? Good.
Or like grab them to go with you.
Oh my goodness.
It's
That's crazy.
a
I
ball of,
cry.
yes, and I'm an ugly crier. I will cry right in front of you. Yeah, yeah, and I did. I've done it.
Oh man, tap your on your shoulder. You can get your things to go. That's crazy. Wow. Okay, so that was, let's see, it's 2024 now, and that was what 3 years ago?
That
Three?
was that was
Was it 2019? Is that 5 years ago?
2018 is when
Man,
that.
has that been around? Maybe it has been around that long. It was. Wow. Okay, cool. So it's been over about 5 years, right? Time flies. Wow. Um, have you let fear get to you at all since then? Was that like a moment after it passed? You were like, you know what? I cannot let the fear of failure, the fear of succeeding, stop me anymore.
I just talked about that with my therapist. It's Therapy Thursday. Um, I had written a question to myself: Are you more afraid of your fears, or are you more afraid of success? And for a long time, yeah, I sat with that question for a long time, and up until I'll say probably the beginning of this year, from 2020 until the beginning of this year, I had let fear dictate everything that I would do, or everything that I could conceptualize in my mind. Because up until that point, like I said, my brother has always said, "You point, shoot, land, and you get it. It's always yours." But somewhere around the pandemic is when I just stopped pointing and shooting,
Hmm.
didn't land. Um, but recently, it was one of those things where I started reading A Year of Yes by Shonda Rhimes. I do love that book so far. But aside from that, it was just one of those things I told myself, I'm not telling myself no anymore. But depending on what you believe in, you only have one life to live. What are you going to do during that time that you're here? And if you keep telling yourself no, you don't give anybody the opportunity to tell you yes. So no, I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm going to go after every yes that's possible. And if it was a no, I'm going to change your mind and make it a yes. There is
Hmm.
nothing going to stop me at this point. And since I've shifted that in my mind, I've just been going for every single opportunity. And it's been good. It's been really good.
Well, since then, what opportunity have you gone for that has surprised you?
What well, I got to see you there, but one of the big opportunities that was a point shoot land moment, it actually started on my birthday last year. Or around my birthday last year, when Dreamville Festival came around. I had met one of the producers briefly and was like, I have an idea. And he was like, table that. This is not the time. I was like, but it was one of those things where I was like, okay, I will table it for this moment. Not even I won't even give you a long time here. I created a pitch of all of the ideas that I had, and just threw it out there. And I'm like, at some point it's going to stick. It's above me now. This is all on God. So whatever you want from this is what it will be. And when we got the opportunity to partner with them, I was like, this is my dream. This is something that I pitched it after, like I said, Dreamville Festival. We all have, libations and things at Dreamville Festival. So I was not my best self. But the fact that this dream came around and I was able to have a full circle moment and have representation at Dreamville Festival and be a partner with the Dreamville record label, that's huge. And that's all because I decided to say yes to myself instead of beating myself up and telling myself, no, you can't do that, or no, you're not capable. I've never been a partner to a music label before. I've never done a festival before other than dancing for one. So all of these things I could have just as easily said, you're not qualified, you're not capable, you can't do these things. But instead it was, okay, maybe you're not qualified, but neither is anyone else because it hasn't been done before.
Mm.
That's the worst that go for it.
Oh,
Yeah. So that was my favorite yes moment of this year that I shot for.
I love that so much. I can relate to that so much because there's so many things that I've been doing over the last 5 years
Yeah.
that kind of seem maybe random, but I've also kind of started to develop that mentality of just like point and shoot. I'm gonna shoot my shot and I'm gonna see what goes in.
Mhm.
And I've done so many random things. If anybody that has known me over, let's just say about 7 years ago, I was known as like the photographer and videographer person. That's what everybody knew me as. You probably saw me doing stand-up sports reporting, highlight videos for different teams or whatever it is. And then after that, I was like, okay, I'm going to go for my brand. And I just kept doing random stuff, the brand, um, uh, online e-commerce, the TEDx talks, which scared the mess out of me. Like literally, I was curled up in the ball in the back of in the hallway waiting for my talk to. I'm so serious. That was my first time ever speaking on stage. For you, we're going to circle back to that, table that, and then the albums that I've done recently, the songs, the tracks, um, just so many things. And when I approach these projects, every time there was like just a small voice in the back of my head. I was just like, why are you doing this? Like, you're not an artist. You're not a speaker. You aren't a podcast host. Like, you don't speak. Like, why are you doing this? Especially from someone that grew up going to speech therapy. So to do all these different activities that involves my voice and actively engaging with conversation and mentally be like, don't stumble. Like every over and over, it's just like, but I am qualified in my own way, in my own right. And somebody needs to hear the gift that's inside me the same way that you continue to show your gift and your skills for everything that you've been accomplishing, Raven. And sometimes we even realize that, you know what, all the other past experiences that I've had, even though it may not be for this one project that I'm doing, but they have helped me build certain skills to excel in this one project. But again, I can relate to that so much because I'm the king of, you know what, I've never done this before, but I'm gonna try it out anyway.
Yeah.
So yeah, I love that. I love it truly.
The other piece of that is who's writing these qualifications? Are these qualifications that we've, created in our minds, or are these actual on
Hmm.
paper, black and white qualifications? Most of the time it's us. It's us in our own way creating these
Hmm.
roadblocks for ourselves instead of just saying, I'm here, I'm in these rooms for a reason. I've been placed in these spaces with these people. Nothing is by chance or by coincidence. This is all intentional. Why not take advantage of this intentionality? So,
What advice would you give to someone to start overcoming those mental roadblocks that they may have?
got a lot of advice. Say yes to you. Get out of your own way is number one, because you deserve it. Know what you deserve, and well, yeah, let's take it a step back. Know who you are.
Mm.
Know who you are well enough to know what you deserve and what you're calling into your life, what your needs, wants, and expectations are, so that when you are confronted with these different opportunities, you're able to say, well, this one is fitting for me, or this one, and notice I didn't say I fit the qualifications, or that
Mm.
I fit that role, that it works for me. And it starts with you knowing yourself first. So take a step back and learn your desires. Because I think one thing that stood out for me when you were speaking about, no, I'm doing all of these random things. I don't think any of it was random. I think it was all intentional. I think you were blessed with certain skills and certain ideas. This is your vision. I wasn't meant to share in the vision of this for you. So bump what anyone is thinking about what it is that you're doing. You have been gifted in this special, very unique way that you do have all of these talents and you can put them together into what you want to craft your brand to be. So everything is intentional.
We're going to get back to the show in just a second. But in the middle of your journey to create, innovate, and lead, you probably found yourself facing challenges of creative blocks or stuck in the cycle of overthinking. Here's the thing, you aren't the only one experiencing this. So why should you go through this journey alone? What if there was a community of like-minded individuals all striving towards success, ready to support, motivate, and hold you accountable? Well, I have the solution for you. A place where ambition meets action, where your dreams get a roadmap, and where every single stride gets celebrated. We're more than just an online community. We're a collective of creators, freelancers, and entrepreneurs who believe in the power of togetherness to overcome obstacles and achieve greatness. Joining this online private community means that you're not just setting your goals, but also taking decisive steps towards them, with a community ready to cheer you on with every step of the way. It's about consistent progress, shared learning, and the taste of achievement. If you're ready to elevate your journey, to transform your ambitions into achievements, and be part of a collective that believes, then achieves, visit verifyphenom.com to take action today. That's verifyphenom.com. So we're going back to that step one. Know yourself. Who is Raven?
Who is Raven? She is this magical being who I'm gonna do that too. Magical being of light who radiates positivity. No, I'm kidding. Um, Raven is a lover, a giver. Raven is a teacher. Raven is someone who is a. I learned about myself today that I am a connector.
Hmm.
I didn't realize how much I had been in that space to make connections for people in my life and advance them through connection until my therapist actually pointed that out to me today. And I was like, oh, snap. I actually have it written in all of my notes here. But yeah, I'm a connector. I'm someone who is incredibly ambitious, but also someone who would like to see others advance even more than myself. So I am a lifter of individuals. I can go on with the I ams. I am a lot.
I am statements are powerful, first of
I
all.
powerful. I do recognize that. Um, thank you for validating me.
Of course. Um, so I want to pick what we put on the table earlier, the TEDx talk, right?
Yeah, fun times.
That was our I feel like the journey that got a chance to connect us a little bit more
Mhm,
because you had seen that I had done a TEDx talk. You're like,
mhm.
I have this idea and whatnot. And I feel like it was like 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning that we stayed up once or like twice, like crafting your talk, the
Yep.
message, the entire speech. I think you may even practice it one time. But that is talking on a stage, especially on a tech stage, where for me, being on that red circle gave me more nerves and everything because I was told not to go out the circles. And so I was like, I want to run around the stage. I want to do something. Right. It was crazy. But you have been a performer, dancing on stage, for your entire life. Yes, your entire life. But speaking on stage is something completely different.
Mhm.
And you have mentioned briefly that in the back room hallway, wherever they kept y'all held hostage, that it was a very nerve-wracking experience. So if you could talk us through why it was so nerve-wracking for you as someone that has been a performer on major stages, and then how you were able to calm yourself down to then give that amazing presentation that you did?
That's a good question. So, for the majority of my life, I have used my body as my voice. I had never heard my voice
Mm,
projected on a stage. I've never been alone because, you know, when you're,
mm,
for the majority of us, when we do these TEDx talks, we're alone. I have seen groups, but you're
right.
alone. The spotlight is literally on you. As a dancer, the spotlight is not on me, it is on the artist. I'm just background. So, this is my first time really being in the forefront. This is the first time that I'm really using my voice in this way. And I'm talking about something that I'm passionate about, but I'm talking about it in a way that I'm revealing a lot about myself. I'm being
Mm,
very transparent. There were some things that I shared in my TEDx talk that even my mom didn't know. So this
mm.
was a moment of complete transparency for me that I had never really experienced before. And aside from that, contrary to everyone's beliefs, I have horrible stage fright and I get really, really anxious. I've always dealt with anxiety since I was probably, since I can remember starting dance, I've dealt with anxiety. So I'm
Hmm.
also battling this anxiety of just generalized anxiety and then stage fright. So there was a lot to deal with right before going on stage. So like you, not even joking, I was in that in the green room like don't talk. Please. Oh, and I am trying to remember how to speak, like not how to say what I need to say. I'm trying to remember how to get words to come out. Please just leave me alone. So yeah, I was in the back, and any of that group can tell you, yeah, she was a ball of nerves. Even when I got done speaking, I remember coming back and saying, "Okay, did I say words that were cohesive? Did they make sense?" The whole group was like, "Yes, you did well. It sounded like it was when you rehearsed it." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." It didn't feel like that because the time also went by so quickly. It felt like the longest time ever, but it went by quickly. I don't know how to describe that other than that was the longest, what, 8 minutes of my life.
I
But
feel like I blacked out when I did mine.
yeah,
Like I
yeah,
stepped on stage. I remember I was so nervous that when as soon as I stepped on stage, that I closed my eyes and took like 3 deep breaths
good.
because I was like, I'm here. And then I looked out in the audience. I was like, oh, I got to say something now. And I could not get any words out of my mouth. So I just had to close my eyes and take some deep breaths. And then
Yeah,
after that, I said my first line of my speech and then I blacked out. And I just, the only time that got me focused again was a phone went off during my
yeah.
performance, and then which was my fiance's, um, and then I kept on doing the performance, and I was like, "Wow, is it over? Like everybody's clapping." I guess I got to step off the stage now.
We had very similar experiences. The thing that brought me back, someone's camera fell. And I was
Ouch.
like, oh, okay, 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 you're here. You're here, babe. Come on, bring it back. It's time. But yeah, I remember, like you, I took those deep breaths. Luckily for me, my talk was focused a lot on mental health. So they thought I was just practicing different breathing exercises. But a few moments where I'm just like, okay, breathe this thing in, release the negativity, keep going, just keep flowing. You've got something impactful and powerful to say it. And however things come out, you can't change it now. So just do it. Behavioral activation, just do it.
So, on the topic of imposter syndrome,
Hmm.
when someone is stepping on a stage, whatever it may be, in this case, we're talking about a physical stage.
Okay.
If you believe in your heart or you're telling yourself that I don't belong here,
Mm.
and you have that stage fright, and stage fright is something that you were saying that you've been dealing with your entire life. And are you still dealing with that now? Yes. Okay. Okay. So you're dealing with stage fright, performance anxiety. Some people may look at it. How are you still putting on a quality show, quality performance, quality piece of art, even though you have that sometimes for some people fear of performing, in your case anxiety, for other people they just believe that they don't actually belong on that stage to be presenting.
If you are on that stage, you belong on that stage. You did not come, you did not go through that journey to get on the stage just to be an accessory. That was never your purpose. You were meant to do something far greater than what even you in your mind can conceptualize, or else you wouldn't have been there in the first place. So that's number one. Number two, in practice, I like to ground myself before doing anything on the stage. Like I said, it creates a lot of anxiety for me. So the first thing that I need to know is that I am here. I need to disconnect from everything else and reconnect with myself. And I do that through grounding. There are so many different grounding exercises that you can do. I think the easiest one for me is 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, where you're going through 5 things you can see, 4 things you can feel, 3 things that you can hear, 2 things that you can smell, 1 thing that you can taste. Going through all of those things helps to put you back into position of, okay, I am present and I'm fully present. I'm aware of my surroundings and I'm grounded in who I am and where I am in the space. Doing that has transformed so much. And it sounded like a lot. We can go 2 by 2 with your senses if need be. But yeah, 2 things that you can see, 2 things you can feel, all of those things so that you can reconnect with yourself and breathe through that thing. Again, you were purposed to be here. Take in this moment. This moment is yours, and regardless of what it felt like getting to this space, getting to this point in your journey, or regardless of what it feels like to even be on that stage in that moment, remember you would not have gotten here if you weren't meant to be there. And that's just all there is to it. Don't second guess any of it, because no one else is second guessing it. They placed you on that stage for a reason.
Mhm.
They never said, "Oh, well, maybe not so much." They might say that afterwards, depending on how you. But for the most part, they've not guessed at all on you being in that space. So why are you the person that knows you best? Why are you the person telling you that you don't belong there?
Mhm.
When you can answer that question, come back to me.
Question for you. So
Yeah.
after, you've been dropping a lot of gems. So what would you say has been the best piece of advice that you got and it made a light bulb go off in your head that you're like, you know what? I'm her. And it completely changed your trajectory of everything. I know you spoke about the book, right? Of being able to just say yes for yourself. But what was something that somebody verbally said to you that made such a massive impact? Almost how the book also did.
I felt myself tearing up. But there, my mentor, Raven Wilkinson, she, like I said, she was first Black ballerina. She had encountered so much in her journey. She's she's since passed, but she was 80 plus years old, still on her dance journey. And one of the
Mm,
things that she would always say to me is, "There's nothing you can't do," and would leave it at that. Like if I said I wanted to take this blanket and use it as a parachute today, she'd be like, "Hey, I wouldn't advise that, but there is nothing that you can't do. And
mm,
even still, I will be the wind behind your wings." And since meeting her and since being able to hold her as a friend and as a mentor, I hear those words often, that there's literally nothing that I can't do. I've seen this woman. Well, I haven't seen it. I'm not old enough. But I've heard the stories of this woman in times of segregation, riding the buses and having to hide because she was a Black woman with a all white cast of ballerinas, and them telling her that she's not able to perform unless she decides to pass as a white woman or pass as a Latina woman. I've heard her stories, and just put myself in the position of, what if this were her journey, or like, what if she were on my journey? Would she allow certain things to stop?
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And the answer is always no. So there is nothing that I can't do. If this woman can overcome racism during segregation times as a Black woman, and the only Black woman in this space, she's a glass ceiling breaker. She's that girl. If I have that girl telling me that I'm her and there's nothing I can't do, yeah, I have no choice but to believe that every single day of my life. She was my literal and figurative angel. So yeah, there's nothing I can't do.
What's next on your list then?
Ooh, I can't tell you, but it's good.
Oh my
It's
gosh. Okay.
okay. Okay. I'll give you a little bit of a teaser to what I'm working
All right. Cool,
on.
cool,
Okay.
cool.
Okay, so you and I have talked about how I've wanted to, shift the narrative and break the stigma when it comes to mental illness, especially in historically marginalized communities. Ever since, well, partially since Dreamville, there has been this like itch to. I'll just tell you. Okay, part of it. I'll tell you part of it. So, what I'm hoping to do next is infiltrate the music industry a little bit.
Ooh.
I've got a couple of plans, and they're in the works right now, but we're hoping to shake things up, especially with how music is presented or what type of music we're putting out there. So that's why I was really excited towards you putting out a motivational album. I was like, "Oh snap. This is good. We actually we need to connect outside of this to talk about that." But
Big
yeah,
facts. I got a second one coming.
hey, but that's what I'm working on right now. The production side of things. What does this look like to get individuals together? To get individuals together to create something that could really shift that narrative that
Mhm.
that mental illness doesn't happen in our community, or that it doesn't affect us in the same ways or worse ways as other populations. I think that it is important to expand not just our knowledge, but expand our understanding of what that looks like for us as Black individuals, and create space for individuals to be able to express themselves in a way that is healthy and in a way that promotes more mental wellness. So um, I am going to tell you more about this
Well,
personally.
offline. I
Do
got
it
you.
here.
I got you. Remind me to send you one of the tracks I just finished for the album too. All right. So wrapping up here today, I have one question for you. I love to ask everyone this question
Okay.
before we head out. What was success to you 10 years ago? And what is success to you today?
Boy, how that's changed. So success to me 10 years ago, that was, right after undergrad and getting out into the world. So my idea of success, and I was dancing primarily. My idea of success was just to be on that stage, just to be on the stage behind somebody. And it was always behind someone. I
Mm,
need to be on stage behind someone. Success now is spreading the message towards awareness in my community and healing my community.
mm,
And of course, I started with myself and I started with my family, but to see the impact that we've been able to make on a not micro level, macro level,
mm,
and how we're influencing individuals. Like, we had someone from Denmark spend about an hour of their time with us at Dreamville Festival, just talking about mental. Like, that's That's success to me, that even if no one else stopped by, there was one, hey, there was one that was, touched by what we were doing and the message that we were trying to spread. My success is the success of others. So it's definitely shifted from back in the day.
Would you? I know I said that was the last question, but you just
Okay.
sparked something else in my mind. Would you ever do a Black mental health podcast or show?
I've been asked about that so much. I honestly, it's not a no. It's definitely leaning more towards yes. I just don't know where to start or where to go. Yeah. So, hey, hi. I wanted to ask, but I'm like, everyone, again, here comes that imposter syndrome or that negative internal dialogue saying, everyone is doing a podcast, but everyone ain't me. So just do it. Just do it.
Everyone's not you. You can do it. Anything that you believe that you can achieve, you can do it.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So wrapping up here today. How can people find you? How can they support you?
Okay. You can find me on socials, you can find me at Raven_Nicole_. That's across all social media platforms. And if you would like to talk with me professionally or just let's connect, you can go to ravennicole.com. I love when people visit the website. I get to see who you are, where you're coming from, and chat a little bit with you. So that's fun.
Can you spell it out for everyone? Because there are always different
Yes.
variations spell names.
I forget I am not the only Raven out there. It is RavenNicole.com. And if you're looking for me on socials, Raven_Nicole_. You'll
Perfect.
find me.
Thank you so much. Well, y'all, this has been an amazing episode with Raven, the superwoman, the president herself. So glad finally able to get you onto the show. Y'all, if you enjoyed this episode today, make sure you send it out to a couple people that you think that will find value in all the gems that she dropped. But other than that, I'm your host, Phenom, and we'll catch y'all on the very next episode. See ya.